I want to share with you here. We're going to start with the most aware type of person, okay? This is where a lot of low-hanging fruit for church growth exists. And that is right here with the most aware person, okay? Again, the most aware person is the kind of community member that knows about your church. They just need to know how to connect with you, or in many cases, know how to reconnect with you. And where a lot of churches get this person wrong, I'm saying churches are doing this wrong, is they assume that this person, this community member, thinks about your church as much as you do. Meaning, Pastor, you're thinking about your church a good 6 to 7 hours a day. And so we assume whatever we taught last week that this person heard, they're going to remember it. Or they came to our church last year, we sent them an email thanking them, inviting them back, and they haven't come back, but they're going to remember us. Wrong. Okay? Just because they know you doesn't mean they shouldn't be invited. All right? I have lots of family that knows that I want to host for Christmas, but they're not showing up to my house on Christmas. They're going to ask, hey, are you willing to host this Christmas, right? These people are often not going to assume that they're going to take a next step. And we cannot assume that they are going to take a next step. So even though they know about us, there is still another invite. This is where that principle, a lot of pastors like to quote it, and a lot of church leaders like to say it's a thing, but no one ever lives it out purposefully and intentionally until today when I'm going to show you this. We talk about the 7 contacts, right? The rule of 7. It takes 7 touches for someone to take a next step or make a decision, right? That's the importance of advertising and branding. And a lot of people will make a couple contacts, but they won't try anymore. To get the most aware person, to get the people that know your church back into your church, you have to always be engaging with them, always reaching out. And the moment you stop, the moment they think that you stopped caring, okay? The moment you stop reaching out to the people who have already engaged with your church is the moment that they will feel like you stopped caring, okay? Now, if you can get a hold of just the top of the pyramid, just the people that know the most about your church, because they've probably experienced you. If you can continue to engage them, continue to nurture them, and bring them back to church, you'll see an increase in participation, obviously an increase in attendance, equals church growth. But not only that, you're going to have higher engagement, because the more you're engaging with this person, guess what? They're in the community, the more you're going to engage with your community. And the more you're going to stay top of mind. So even if they are aware of you, which by the way, these people can be totally aware of you and not go to you. Okay. I am very much aware of the wonderful Lutheran church down the road. I'm picking on you Lutherans again, but I ain't a Lutheran. But you know what? If I meet someone and I'm like, hey, they could go to that church, I might recommend them over to that church. But if they're not top of mind, I will not make that recommendation. So, just being most aware. I see someone with a bunch of tattoos. They're not going to, I don't know, but they need help. Go to that church over there, right? So you will naturally have more community engagement. And you'll see these people often coming to your community events. But if you don't know how to approach them, if you don't know how to invite them, if you don't know how to engage with them, they're just going to keep coming to community events and never actually engage with you on a meaningful evangelistical or discipleship relationship. Okay, I love to make up words sometimes. Evangelistical relationship. So how do you engage with the most aware so that they don't become most aware, or they don't stay most aware, but they actually become an active participant, dare I say, member of your church? The number one rule to keep these guys engaged and to get them back in a church is simply follow up. Okay, just because they know of you doesn't mean they're ready or willing to connect with you. But if you follow up until they say no, guys, okay? Follow up. No matter what anyone tells you, no matter what you feel, follow up. Until they say, I am never going to your church, all right, follow up. Continue following up. Now, that doesn't mean daily follow up with them like what are they called? Credit people? Creditors? Is that what they're called? You're not going to follow up them daily like that, but you're not going to forget about them. You're going to reach out to this person, at the very least, an email. Ideally 3-4 times a year. Okay. At the bare minimum, send them a Christmas card. You got their address in your system. Don't delete them from your system. Put them on a list and send them a Christmas card. All right. Businesses are doing this. All right. I got 2 birthday cards for my birthday. One of them was from my dentist. And by the way, guess what? I've been to the dentist twice. I got another appointment next month. Okay, because they stayed top of mind. I was aware of them, but I was putting off my decision. All right. So follow up with them. Okay. And the frequency in which you follow up will naturally get wider and more in between when they don't engage with you, but you can still engage with them by sending out a quarterly community letter, Christmas cards, obviously birthday. If you're equipped to do that, that's a little bit more labor and finance intensive, but that's a great way to stay top of mind. All right. The other way that you can connect with these guys is listen to their feedback. Okay. When they engage with you and they stop connecting with you, you've got to know why. Okay. And I'm not saying find out why it's your fault. It's not always your fault. All right. There were a couple great churches that we visited when we moved to a new area. They just didn't gel with us. And it wasn't their fault. It just wasn't for our family. And no one asked me about it. Right. And that's fine. But if you want to follow feedback isn't just for improving. It's also just for getting clarity. Okay. Because you'll also notice that many of these people are not even, your church isn't equipped to serve. All right. Number 3 is always be inviting. Okay. Always be inviting. What was the Glenn Ross? Always be closing. Your church needs to always be inviting. Don't just broadcast information. Okay. Very personal. Invite people to events. Send a letter to parents before VBS, even if they just went to VBS last year. They are the most aware of your church, but they need that other invite. Always be inviting. And you will see tremendous church growth just from this low-hanging fruit. And again, growth is not the goal. Okay, the goal is kingdom growth, kingdom impact, increasing the righteous in our community, spreading the gospel, making disciples. That's the goal. And for some churches, that looks like growth, and that's fine. For some churches, it looks like a little bit of growth and then multiplication because they're planting other churches or they're going off and forming other groups. That's fine. But if you consistently follow up with the people that are most aware with you, that have engaged with you, that have connected with you, that have been to an event, you do it intentionally. Okay. And you just simply ask for their feedback and listen. And you are in a mindset or church culture of always be inviting. Your congregation can always be on the lookout. Okay, we're building a memorable message process to add to our branding system, and it includes key phrases to listen for. That when someone says, "I'm exhausted," life is exhausting, the congregant knows that is who our church is for. And so, always be inviting. And when you do this, you will reconnect with more people, and bring those people in. You'll see more participation, more community engagement, and your congregation will get excited again. Your leadership will be rejuvenated. Pastor, you're going to sleep a little bit better at night. Just taking advantage of the low-hanging fruit. The low-hanging fruit is not the neighborhood around you. The low-hanging fruit is the people that have already connected with you and have fallen away. So go out there and communicate to that most aware of you, and don't treat them like someone who's never heard of you. That's a waste of time. That's kind of insulting and patronizing to them. Instead, approach them in a way that says, we'd love to have you back. We appreciated having you, and we'd love to know kind of where we missed the mark or, what's been going on in life. Use it as a ministry opportunity as well.